The call came on a quiet Thursday evening, just as I parked my car outside our new house. The sky was turning orange, and the neighborhood was calm. For the first time in months, I felt like life was finally settling down. My phone rang. Unknown number. Normally I ignore those, but something about it made me answer. Hello. A slow, rough voice spoke from the other side. Is this Michael Carter? Yes, I replied carefully. Who's this? There was a short pause. My name is Arthur Hill. I'm the previous owner of the house you just bought. I frowned, looking at the house in front of me. Is everything okay? Another pause. Longer this time. Not exactly, he said quietly. I forgot to disconnect something before selling the house. My stomach tightened. What do you mean? A camera, he said. For a second I thought he was joking. There's a small security camera hidden in the living room ceiling. I installed it years ago when we had burglary issues. I forgot it was still connected to my cloud account. I sat up straight. You're telling me you've been watching my house? No, he quickly said. Not intentionally. I only realized today when I opened my old camera system. It connected automatically, and I saw something. My grip tightened on the steering wheel. What did you see? Silence filled the line. Then he said something that made my heart pound. Something you deserve to know, but not over the phone. What? Come alone. I'll show you. He gave me his address and hung up. I sat there in the car for nearly 5 minutes, staring at my house. Inside, lights were glowing warmly. My wife Emily had decorated the porch with hanging lights and flowers. Through the window, I could see her laughing with her younger sister, Megan. Everything looked normal. But something about that call didn't feel normal at all. When I walked inside, Emily smiled immediately. There you are? Did you bring the groceries? I forced a smile. Not yet. I'm going out again. Already? Yeah. Just remembered something I forgot to grab. I kissed her on the cheek and left before she could ask more questions. Arthur lived about 20 minutes away in a small, aging house near an old gas station. When he opened the door, he looked nervous. Gray hair, tired eyes, shaking hands. Thank you for coming, he said. Inside his house was cluttered with old electronics and papers. He led me to a small desk with a laptop. I backed up the footage, he said quietly. My heart started beating faster. From today. From the past few days. He clicked play. The screen showed my living room. The camera angle came from the ceiling corner. The timestamp showed Tuesday evening. I had worked late that day. The video showed Emily walking into the room. Behind her came Megan. Then, Emily's mother. They sat down on the couch with glasses of wine. They were laughing. At first nothing seemed strange. Then Emily said something that made my blood run cold. I still can't believe he actually trusts me with everything. Her mother laughed. Well, you married him, didn't you? That was the hardest part. Megan raised her glass. Soon the house will legally be yours anyway. I felt like someone punched me in the chest. Emily pulled out a folder from her bag. Power of attorney documents, she said proudly. You said he'd never read them. Her mother smirked. Men in love rarely read paperwork. They laughed again. My hands slowly curled into fists. Arthur quietly paused the video. I'm sorry, he said. I couldn't speak. Everything felt unreal. Emily, my wife, the person I trusted most, was planning to take everything from me. I stared at the frozen frame on the screen. Can you send me the footage? I finally asked. All of it. Arthur nodded. Of course. When I got home that night, everything looked perfectly normal. Emily greeted me with a warm smile. Did you finally buy the milk? Megan waved from the kitchen. Dinner's almost ready. I smiled back. But inside something had changed. Every word they said felt fake now. Every laugh sounded rehearsed. I realized something important that night. If they were playing a game, then I would play it better. Over the next week, I acted exactly the same. Friendly, trusting, clueless. But behind the scenes, I started preparing. First, I contacted a lawyer. A quiet, experienced attorney named Richard Hale. When I showed him the recordings, his expression turned serious. This is attempted financial fraud, he said. Especially if forged signatures are involved. Can we stop them? I asked. He nodded slowly. Oh yes. And that's exactly what we did. We quietly revoked the power of attorney. We secured my bank accounts. We updated property ownership documents. Every asset was locked under my sole control again. Emily had no idea. They were still celebrating their upcoming victory. One night, I overheard them talking in the kitchen. Megan whispered, Are you sure he won't notice? Emily laughed softly. He barely notices when the bills arrive. Relax. Her mother added. Once the paperwork goes through, Everything will be yours. I stood in the hallway listening and smiling, because by that point, their plan had already failed. They just didn't know it yet. The final act came 2 weeks later. I invited them all to dinner. Emily looked excited. Celebrating something? Just life? I said with a grin. They happily agreed. That evening the table was full of food. Wine glasses clinked. Laughter filled the room. At exactly 7 p.m., the doorbell rang. Emily frowned. Are we expecting someone? I stood up calmly. I am. I opened the door. Standing outside was my lawyer and a court officer. We walked inside together. The room went completely silent. Emily looked confused. What is this? The officer stepped forward and handed her an envelope. Emily Carter, he said firmly. You are being served notice regarding attempted property fraud and document forgery. Her face went pale instantly. Megan stood up. What is this? Joke. My lawyer calmly placed a USB drive on the table. This contains recordings of your conversations, he said. Emily stared at me in shock. You recorded us? No, I said calmly. You recorded yourselves. I explained everything. The hidden camera, the recordings, the legal protection, the revoked documents. Every step, every move. Emily's mother began shouting. You can't do this. I leaned back in my chair. Oh, but I already did. I looked directly at Emily. You thought love made me blind, but it just made me patient. No one spoke after that. The officer gave them a deadline to collect their belongings. They left that house the same night. Weeks later, the house was quiet again. Peaceful. I sat on the porch one evening watching the sunset. For a long time I thought betrayal would destroy me. But in the end, it revealed the truth. And sometimes, the truth is the thing that finally sets you free.